Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Saga Troy video. This time we're going to look at the Divine Will, as that has been radically changed for the MYTHOS DLC. The gods were noticeable with the whole truth behind the myth thing with various different buffs. But it looks like in the MYTHOS DLC the gods themselves will be a lot more active throughout a Total War Saga Troy. When this DLC releases, before you start your campaign, you can test out all the godly powers in custom battles just to see which one you like the most. As you can see here, there are 9 in-game, and it does take some time to be able to get them, as of course you need to build up certain buildings, sort out certain prayers, and so on. Each of them are quite different and have their own special effects. One is particularly hilarious, and you're going to see later on in this video. Let's start off with Disarming Beauty, which is a blessing from Aphrodite. What this does is puts an enemy in a sort of trance. For 45 seconds they will not be able to move or attack or use any special abilities. This can only be done on units and not on a hero. It's still fairly powerful, it acts as a stun, it really depends on what you want to use this for, but if you want to stun, say for example, a large monster or a particularly very powerful chariot unit or something like that, that works out very well. Apollo grants a blessing known as Healing Light, which is a 10-second buff spell that has a fairly large area effect. Now with this, it heals your units for 100 hit points per second, it's not too bad, and adds plus 20% stamina to the units that were affected to keep them going for a bit longer. It's not bad, the healing is always well used, it depends on what you use it for and so on. I myself am more of an aggressive player, so I didn't really see myself using this too much. Ares bestows a blessing known as Bloodthirsty God, which acts as a buff to your units and a debuff to the enemy. As a buff, you'll get plus 75% melee attack and plus 20 morale. Yep, it's actually quite a powerful buff. And for the debuffs, it'll be minus 50% melee defense and minus 20 armor. You can actually do a lot of damage here to any enemies that might be heavily armored, and you can start swatting them away without too much of a problem. Artemis will bestow the ability known as Wild Hunt, which lasts for 25 seconds and provides the following bonuses: plus 20% charge speed and plus 20% speed, whilst also bestowing the Strider trait to your troops. This is again another area effect which is decently large, and it can work for a multitude of ways. If you need to move through terrain quickly or just to charge into the enemy and just be able to get there even faster, it's all about mobility with this spell. Athena will provide the ability known as the Aegis Ballast, which is another area effect spell which can last for 30 seconds and is quite powerful. The bonuses it provides is plus 15 melee defense, plus 25 missile resistance in case you're fighting against anything with a lot of arrows, and finally your units will be unbreakable. This is pretty decent for siege battles, say if you need some extra missile resistance, or if you're stuck in a choke point and you want to keep your units as unbreakable. Yeah, it's a lot of spells here are working towards choke points. Hephaestus will bestow the blessing known as Arm of the Gods, which lasts for 25 seconds. Once again, this is an area effect spell which can buff up your troops for a decent amount of distance. The blessings are as follows: plus 20% armor piercing missile damage, plus 20% missile damage, plus 20% weapon damage, plus 20% armor piercing damage, and plus 20 armor. You'd think Arm of the Gods would focus more around armor than it would about damage, but hey, I'm not here to judge now, am I? Still, it's a very powerful buff, which, yeah, it's gonna be good for not only melee but also range. It really depends on how you want to use it. If you've got units which are hybrids, which have range but can also go in melee, you can more or less plan when to drop this spell. Hera bestows the debuff known as Wrath of the Goddess, and this can only be done on a enemy hero, which could be quite useful if you're trying to snipe out a character. The debuffs are of course as follows: minus 30% melee defense, minus 30% speed, minus 30% melee attack, and minus 12% stamina. I did try this one a few times, and I think the best time to use it is usually when you've got a character who might not be too strong in a duel, as of course dueling, it's one-on-one, you want to bestow some debuffs on enemies to make sure that you know you can actually kill him off. Poseidon bestows the blessing known as Tidal Wave, which means that we're finally going to some damage. This is a large amount of damage in a frontal area that can disrupt formations, but can also hurt your own troops too. You'll want to plan this out ahead before casting it, as of course you want to get as many enemies in one location as possible. Think of this as a wind or breath weapon in Total War Warhammer, and you'll get the gist of that too. There is no minimum range for this, so as long as you have the blessing you can even cast it on the other side of the map, which is quite good. As you can see here, my enemies aren't attacking me because they're the defenders, and I just want to do some damage before they get to me. And the last spell is, of course, Zeus's Thunderbolt, which doesn't really need much explaining. It's a big zappy zap, though it is important to note that as this can hurt your enemies, it can also hurt you, so plan ahead as to where you're going to do this, or else you might end up doing a lot of damage to yourself. Now, with that being said, there's not a lot of damage being done to units as a whole. If you have a unit army here with like 30 entities and so on, you'll see on screen that it does, well, it does damage, but not that much. Unless you can group up enemy units quite heavily, you're not really going to get the best use of this spell. However, this is where it just becomes absolutely hilarious.
Has claimed the enemy hero.
Yep, a one shot on an enemy hero. I'm not sure if this is going to get nerfed on release or something, because I don't know, I just wasn't expecting that myself. That was the first time I'd actually used it on a hero, so it completely threw me off. And yeah, it does one shot like every other hero too. So there you have it in regards to the new Divine system with the MYTHOS DLC. It's a lot of area of effect stuff, though it does kind of make sense, I guess. I'm not too well versed with Greek mythology, but I think it just kind of fits with the theme. Though you do have some damaging stuff, it would be nice if this gets explored further. There's still some gods from the Pantheon still missing, so hopefully we'll see more in the future and more rarity if Creative Assembly want to expand upon Troy. And there are a few hints throughout the DLC which kind of suggest that. We'll be exploring that soon in a video. But what do you guys think about these new divine spells? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fame level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel has been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.